All right. So, basically, because we've done exceptionally well, the people are very pleased, and they've actually, after being inspired by Miss Clay, come up with an idea. What if we grow a second type of thing? But soon we will discover that the world is not just us and our double cooked meat. So yeah, don't set up new farms for this stuff. Just replace a whole bunch. Because as I mentioned, there's not enough time for them to do it full millet. But if part of the millet off season was used to grow wheat, and vice versa, there might just be enough time. Maybe. That's what that bit of storage is used for, by the way. Over here, I will store jade and carved jade. I don't have access to any yet, but will eventually some other group of people will come up with the bright idea that there's no way they're the only ones in the world, and we'll get that exact same idea, and then we'll make contact. And then I'll throw my pottery at them because that's the way I've pleased everyone so far. Why would they be an exception? And then they will be a way for me to actually acquire money. Because currently I don't have one of those. Look at them go. See, they actually can do half of it. And then, oh, they don't have, okay, there we go. They're getting the edges. And then they spend the rest of the time making sure that what they have planted grows well. Instead of just being spread too thin. And as far as other things, we were unlocked Jade Carver Studio. And that's about it. You might recall seeing this 4 jade carvings. So yes, I will have to use those. But the import and export business, well, sometimes being the middleman gives money, and sometimes you think you are the middleman, but in reality, you are not. Which is a sad but true reality. I will not be able to all the money. But new place discovered. So I could give money. Everyone likes money, but I have surplus ceramics, and I have no other use for them. And it's not like everywhere in the world has clay. So I think they'll appreciate the gift. I have a strong feeling that they will enjoy. And if they enjoy my free samples, well, in the words of the
By the crushed tooth of the
uh,
No more today. All gone. All gone.
I've had better fortune, I've had worse.
I sell, you buy, you buy.
In the words of this guy, I sell, you buy, you buy. You can have the free samples, but you buy. Also, in the words of him, um, from another dialogue line he has, I am ruined by my kindness in setting so cheap. Because yes, oh, Steam meat buns can be upgraded to appetizing. Oh yes, you actually do have the ability to change trade prices, which is not something you can do in other games by this company, which is interesting. It does mess with your relations with them if they think you're overcharging them. So it's probably more useful for multiplayer, but yes, there actually is multiplayer in this game. Good luck finding someone to play with you, and it's probably done through Game Ranger. They appreciate, and while my envoy was dropping it off, I also noticed they need silk, but we haven't unlocked silk. They also produce jade and rice. I need jade to start carving it. Even if I don't sell it, just the fact that I carve it is enough for my people because they get the implication that we'll sell it when we are able to. I like having full granaries at the mill and with the hemp. Let's check in on this. Don't worry, buddy. I can smash the pottery for you. I don't even remember what his thing is. What he's the ancestor of, but oh, another place discovered. Well, do you want some ceramics? I'm just sending these as gifts because I know what they want, having played the tutorial before. But if you do not know what they want in advance, then just send money. About 1,000 should be enough. Oh, I did not expect for her to arrive. Um, Whatever. I'll just let Grandma Clay have some fun. I imagine bingo night probably got boring a long time ago, so wait, no, this is so scuffed. I'll set up 6, that way 2 loads, 1 towards, that way they can sell at the middle of the year, and at the end. And then I'll do the same with Jade, and then 3 carvers should be fine. We didn't quite have ceramics at the ready to sell, but that's fine. Now these people produce wheat. I produce wheat. I don't care. But they buy hemp and carved jade as well as ceramics. I could have sent them a gift of hemp. I could have done that. But I didn't remember if they had any particular thoughts regarding hemp. Like if they wanted it. I just didn't remember. So that's the reason why. Since I have unemployment, I may as well spend it on a few kilns. Now that I've reduced it to a more reasonable unemployment rate, a rate that would get many modern economists very happy because it's probably something they haven't seen in a while. You can decide if that's in a good way or in a bad way. Okay, another trade route opens up. And put it there. Sell all of the carved jade. Sell some hemp. And then restrict the ceramics export to both because there are more options available. And as for rice, I could get even more food types, but there's 0 point. It's the desired quality. Beyond noodles with meat. Well, how much more can they possibly want? They wouldn't know what to do with it. I'll slightly relax the limits. My hemp farms appear to be enough. But if we take a look around the map, we see I really do have to squeeze everything into the front because the rest will remain in wilderness for a good long while. I could maybe bulldoze this section, but I want to keep the trees. What if we need the wood? And the rocks, well, I can't really work around those until we find some way to make use of them. Say, discovering an ore, but who knows if this place will last that long. For an embassy. I permit you to hand over your free samples of jade. Now, they're not always legitimate, but as you can tell by the fact that there is a grayed out military tab, you can trust them in this mission. Just know that you can also be shady right back to them. In fact, I think, if I remember right, even if they give you something, that might actually allow them to smoke when a spy anyways. So, if you ever spot a person walking where you know they should not be, or just build watchtowers. They're doing such a good job farming. We have a massive surplus, and yet they still go to work like we don't. Neglected. I'll give her some wheat. She's fine with it. Let's see, how many carvings have I sold? 6. I need to produce 4 not sell. Produce 4 in a year, and I think I have more than met that amount. I believe it should be relatively soon. I think I just have to hit the Chinese New Year or something like that. Let's not stare at the factories while I wait. Let's stare at the town. It's a walled settlement, but these are decorative residential area walls. They don't actually. Yeah. They don't actually matter. And then, keeping in mind, Chinese New Year is not January, so we will have to wait a little bit longer before I verify. There it is.
Excellent work. It's easy to see that trade with other cities can be beneficial for both parties. You now have learned the basics of building a thriving town, feeding its people, establishing industry, and setting up trade with a neighboring city. It is now time, however, to leave the village of Banpo and found a new town at Early Tao.
Early town, more like.